All right. Well, welcome to episode 23 of Cybersecurity 101 with Joe and Larry. Uh, I'm your host, Joe, and joining me is the co-host you've all come to know and love and respect, Larry. Welcome, Larry.
Welcome, everyone. It's so glad to do another podcast with Joe. We know it's been a long time, but we got a lot of fun and interesting things to let everyone know.
Yeah, so there's been some major happenings in our lives, since the last episode. I'll let you do the honors of sharing the big news, career-wise and then personal-wise if you want.
Uh, Career-wise, I got blessed working with Patriot Consulting Technology as a SOC analyst. And it's just been amazing. I am learning so much. My brain is going in overload, but it's so fun. So I'm excited. I had a granddaughter, and then we had another grandson. So the babies are piling in right now. So we're very, very excited. We feel so blessed with everything. So yes, I am very excited.
Congratulations. That's huge. And just to it's been about almost a year since our last episode. So just maybe to recap, from the beginning, how long has it been since you first started studying and pursuing a career in cybersecurity?
I started in March of 2020, right before COVID, and it's continuing now. I'm done in October this year. Actually, when I get off this from doing this from doing this podcast, yeah, I got to finish a finals in communication. So yeah, so I'm excited. I only got a couple more months. I'm just gonna just stick to it.
So you'll be wrapping up your degree program then.
Yeah, so I will have my associate's degree in cybersecurity, and then I'll be taking the SC 200 and SC 900 from Microsoft, and I'll be taking the what is it? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a brain fart right now, but through CompTIA Security Plus. So
Nice, very nice. So what are some of the major challenges that you faced over the last 3 years?
the major one of the major challenge was patience. Just being patient with everything and sticking to the plan and just believing in God. And God got me through all this. Just being patient and waiting because I was so excited to jump in right away about a year ago. And me being patient and being with the right team and with the right company, it just feels so awesome.
Hmm. What message do you have to someone who's just starting out? Especially knowing what you've kind of had to go through to get to where you are now.
Be patient and be consistent. Just continue to fight the fight. It will take some time, only because when you're starting off, you don't have that. You might have some knowledge, but you don't have that experience to actually go in there and just figure things out, which I'm just learning now. Which with the knowledge, you do know some things. So I'm not saying that knowledge doesn't mean anything, but it's just that work experience. So
Mhm.
so yeah,
Yeah,
just be patient.
it's a big difference, right? Being in front of the console from reading the book, right?
It's totally different. But the good thing about reading the book, you understand the lingo, so you know what a SH, I mean a SHA1 or SHA5, or you know what that means. So when you're sitting there, you will see it. You be like, oh, okay. But to actually, know what you're doing when you're there, so that's when the hands-on come on. So I do always suggest that you do know the book knowledge. That I do.
Yeah, you kind of need both, right? Because can you imagine 3 years ago sitting in front of a console and seeing all this and not knowing the concepts of what a SHA-1 hash is or all these things? I mean, it'd be very difficult, right, to be
Oh,
effective in the job.
I would sit there and just be like, I don't know what I'm looking at, and
Yeah,
that's probably what most people would do. But by getting by getting the book knowledge, you do have an understanding. You just don't have that hands on to actually take action on what to do.
right. How hard was it getting a job in cyber?
It was tough. It was tough because, um, and I understand why now. When you're doing cyber, you're taking care of valuable assets for a company, which is their employees and then their employees' identities and stuff like that. And that's a very, very, very valuable asset. And if you really don't know what you're have an understanding or what you're doing, and you mess up and they lose that asset or they get ransom or something, that's costing that company millions and millions of dollars. So I do understand um, the why.
Yeah. It's interesting. We had a case recently without kind of sharing any specifics about the client or anything. The initial alert that came in said that a domain controller was talking to a, randomly generated domain name, right? Like a new domain. And so the initial analyst, right, that was mentoring you initially was going to create the case, hand it over to the client, and we dug in a little deeper, and it wasn't exactly what was on the surface, right? Wasn't that interesting?
So that's the interesting part of cybersecurity, because you don't know what is the true positive and the false negative. So you do have to do your investigations just to understand those points, because you don't want to send someone a true positive. It's actually a false negative, because it just puts everyone on high alert, and then they might have to change passwords, and it's
Yeah.
a bunch of other things that they may have to do. But yeah, just the understanding of that is very, very important.
Yeah,
And it,
too many false negatives. That's not good, right? I mean, we need to be able to detect things, that are getting through, right?
yeah,
Now, it was fascinating looking at that particular case because, you know, the domain controller was in fact doing some communication over DNS, but it was doing it on behalf of a client, right? It was doing DNS
yeah,
recursion. And so the security software saw the DNS lookup and saw the domain was bad, but it wasn't the domain controller that was compromised, right? It was actually, someone's client who was in fact communicating with a bad domain name. So that was
exactly.
pretty interesting. Yeah.
So it's so interesting, and I'm um, I'm just starting to learn so much about the rules and the playbooks and stuff like that. So I mean, it's so awesome when I do go into analytics or something like that, and I'm looking at logs. Now, when we interviewed, I think his name was Dwayne Dunstan, and he said he loved to go into the logs. I understand why now, because that's where you get your meat at.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of the raw. So tell
Yeah.
tell the listeners about your day-to-day responsibilities. What is it like being a SOC analyst?
Being a stock analyst is very exciting. I mean, you see a you see a bunch of activity, and you know I'm very, very blessed to have Sahil and Joe and Zach to always have to reach out if I have like a serious question or something like that. If I have like a something that I'm wondering about, but being a stock analyst is awesome. I have to do research, which is great. You have to do a thorough investigation before you close a ticket out. You just can't close a ticket out, no matter if it's an informal or whatever. You still got to kind of look into it and just find out what's going on with it and just make sure everything's okay. Um, but no, it's great. I love it. I love working with Sahil. He's awesome. So, I mean, I've learned so much from him, and then when we when you get in on a call and we just learn so much from you, I'm just sitting there like, oh, okay, wow, all right. And the whole thing is I kind of know it in my head, but now I can get a grasp of it. So
Mhm. Yeah. How important is it, do you think, for someone who, day one, their very first day as a SOC analyst, having a mentor, to help them, right?
I think it's very important. I think if you just go in there just blind and thinking you know everything, it's going to be rough. You're going to run into some. You're going to get some other companies pretty upset just by saying everything is you're going to think everything's a threat, and it may not be a threat.
Mhm.
So
Or the opposite,
or the opposite, it might be a
close
threat.
tickets that are actually real, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh yeah.
interesting. Um, what do you think your biggest takeaway from working with Sahil and Zach has been so far?
The thoroughness that they put into their work, especially the documentation. I thought the documentation that Sahil did on one client with an incident, it was so awesome. I just seen how thorough he was in this incident and how thorough they are in their investigation. So that makes me kind of want to step my game up and be just as thorough.
Hmm.
That's the importance of it.
Yeah, very good. And just checking in on you, outside of work, is there anything that keeps you motivated? Any hobbies, activities, anything fun you're doing these days?
Right now, not that much. I'm studying and working. I work
Yeah.
7 days a week, but I'm blessed. When I do get some free time, I try to.
Mm.
I have to. Something that I know that I'm definitely working on is putting the Lord first. So I have to kind of take
Mhm.
a step back on some things. But then remembering my wife, I have to do that, and my awesome puppy I have here, he keeps me going. So
Right on. Well, it sounds like a season of life, right, where you're working hard to get the knowledge, but then it's really inspiring, that you didn't give up, over 3 years. And, I know how inspiring that has been. Tell us about how, what it's been like getting kind of all the people reaching out to you on LinkedIn over the years. What's that been like?
oh, it's been so awesome. I just wish I could have gave them more. You know what I mean? But now I think I can. So just keep reaching out. You guys just inspire me every day to keep going. Some of the people and some of their struggles and stuff like that. So it's just been awesome reading those. So
Nice. Well, that's pretty awesome. Any I know it's the end of your shift and everything, so we'll give you your evening back. But any last minute words for the listeners? And do you want to? Where do you want to see this podcast go?
uh, I would love to see our podcast just grow. Maybe add on someone that is just starting off, just kind of like I was, and trying to figure it out. Bring in some other listeners. Um, my biggest thing is don't give up. Just continue to work hard, study. Go do the try hack me and all
Mhm.
those. Just Udemy is a good, very 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 inexpensive to go to kind of keep you afraid with the schooling. If you can't afford school,
Mhm.
just keep at it, and you'll get
Mhm.
there.
If you had to do it all over again, what path would you recommend for someone, or would you do it the same that you did?
I would do it the same way.
Hmm.
I do not have one iota of just doubt. I'm really, I think it took the time it took for me to be at the place I am now. I think if it went too quick, I wouldn't have. It'd have been maybe a little bit over my head, and I wouldn't have been there. But I think I'm getting there now.
Nice. Well, those are some nice digs you got. You got an ocean view there and everything. I mean, you're obviously doing pretty well, my friend.
Doing pretty well here in Indiana. Wish I was back in Cali, but we love Indiana.
Nice. Well, congrats on everything. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. But I just, want to thank you for everything. Thank you for joining us here at Patriot and helping us out on, the new service offering we have, which is pretty exciting and everything. So
Well,
yeah.
first, I want to thank Patriot for giving me the opportunity, and I see Patriot growing. I mean, I see more clients coming aboard, and it's just been awesome. My end goal is to work for Patriot full time.
Mm. Well, thank you, Larry. Really good catching up with you, and I will see you on your next shift.
See you on my next shift, Joe.
All
Everyone
right.
take care.
All right. Take care. Bye.